Hi everybody. Today we're going to sing a song called Stricken by Disturbed. There are a couple things that need to be pre-framed when you start singing this song. First of all, it's quite a high pitch for men. Second, take care of the voice. This song takes a lot of muscle work to do, especially when you want to put the effects, like the distortion, on top of what you're singing. So make sure you match the emotion of the song with the muscle work that needs to be put in the song to sing it. And third, take care when you practice this song. Practice the song first without the effect, to make sure you use the voice in a healthy way, and then add the effect on top of that. You don't want to hurt the voice. Alright? First, we're going to shortly look at the emotion that's behind this song. This song is about obsessive desires and inner struggles. So this should actually match the emotion that you put into the muscle work of the voice. There's a reason why there is distortion on this song and why there are screams in this song. So this is because of the intensity of the emotion behind it. Regarding the pitch of this song, when I demonstrate things for you, the pitch for me isn't that high because I have a female voice. But when you are a guy trying to sing this song, beware that it is quite high pitch. So because of that, you need to put in a lot of muscle work, and also be sure that the technique that you use is really precisely put. First, you want to practice this song without effects on it, without distortion, without creaking or anything like that. Just sing the song like clean. Make sure you don't hurt the voice. Make sure you use the right intention, the right muscles. And then when this feels good, you put the effects on top. The main effects used in the song, you already kick off with the first one. It's a high scream with a lot of distortion on it. Maybe some grunting underneath. We'll get to that. So let's get started. We're going to listen to the first couple lines of the song now. Let's see what he's doing. You walk out like a woman in suffering. Won't even bother now to tell me why. You come alone, learning all of us, saving the moment, leaving me broken another time. Alright, so immediately you hear that the singing is quite intense, right? So there's distortion on it. If you look at the speech to singing ratio of this song, it is not sung like, you walk on like a woman in suffering. That's way too open and way too singy, right? So instead of that, David tends to actually kind of chew on the words. It's like na 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 na. It's very staccato, so really pointy, and it's not la 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 la. It's not legato or open. It's really a closed setting from the inside of the mouth and really staccato, right? It's really speech-like in that way. It's kind of fast even, right? Na 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 na. So keep the words short and really chewed. So how do you do this? David sings this in a technique called edge. This comes from the complete vocal technique, this term. It's a technique that is in the chest voice. So it's not like in the head voice, like, you walk on like a woman. It's like, you walk on. You get there by talking really loud, but by keeping a really small setting from the inside. So this means, could you make an NG in your mouth? Like close your mouth all the way and even close it from the inside. So your tongue actually comes up to your teeth, to your molars, and you try to even push the, not push, but put the tongue against the soft palate up here. So everything is close, like nothing can get in, nothing can get out, right? As close as that. Even the tongue gets positioned against the inside of the soft palate. So try that. We try to hum it on an NG. So close the mouth, everything touches from the inside as well. Tongues against the upper molars, and close the soft palate with your tongue also, and make an NG. So, and then you hum it in this way. So we do, tag along. So on the I already feel that I need more support from here, right? So
take care that you do that. Use all the muscles here in the body to get to the volume you want to get. So don't push here. The vocal cords should be really, really, really relaxed. Like if I would not work, for your understanding, if I wanted to sing this and I would not use muscle work, then the volume would have to come down. Then you get this. It's not possible to sing that any louder without using the muscles. So now I'm going to raise the volume by using muscles, right? So the first volume was this. Without the muscle work. Now I'm going to push the volume with muscles. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm using my arms here that are connecting to the upper back here. And it's as if I'm squeezing oranges or something like that. Like I'm pulling it backwards and down, down. This will eventually also help me put the distortion on top of the singing, but not yet. So we try this. We have the closed setting, closed mouth. Use no muscles first. Relax the vocal cords and see what volume comes out. So okay, now we do the same thing again, and now we use the muscles. Okay, so you can always rewind back to some part before in the video to see if you have to check up on some things, right? You can always do that and then go further when it works out. So now we want to put on some lyrics, right? So first we're going to speak it. So we have the closed setting, keep it closed, but it's like we're going to, I have to think of a little monster when I, like who's eating cookies or something, that you open a little bit at the front here and chew, like nom 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 nom. All right, so I'm going to do it first. So you walk on like a woman in suffering, won't even bother now to tell me why. So make sure you don't go to tell me why, so that you don't go to the head voice, but you can just stay here. You stay in a talking voice and it stays loud. Make sure it's loud, but the setting is really small. You walk on like a woman in suffering, won't even bother now to tell me why. So also some of the intensity of the that the song should have, it's coming out already because of this setting. Do you hear that? Okay. So now you try. You walk on like a woman in suffering, won't even bother now to tell me why. So it's not tell me why. Don't open up there too much. Keep it closed. So even when we're going to sing the melody on top right now, keep the setting as close as possible. It will open a bit, but try not to. Just try not to. Okay, here we go. You walk on like a woman in suffering, won't even bother now to tell me why. Yes? So it even gets a bit of a nasal sound. Like tell me why. A bit here up in the front here. That's not a problem. David does this as well. It is actually helping him to get the sound he wants. So these were the first two sentences of the verse. So the rest of the verse, it's the same, right? Okay. So now we can try to sing that. Tag along. Okay, so keep the setting small and chew on the words, right? Okay. You walk on like a woman in suffering, won't even bother now to tell me why. You come along letting all of us savor the moment, leaving me broken another time. You come on like a bloodstained hurricane, leave me alone, let me be this time. You carry on like a holy man pushing redemption, I don't want to mention the reason I know. Okay, so the no is the first one that opens up a little bit. Like, no! It goes up, it opens up a little bit. So now already, with my voice, you hear that the distortion is coming on. Go! Yeah? So from go, you have options here. So you can either go in the direction of distortion. So I would use the word go for this first. Then I would have, without the distortion, go. It's like, oh. It's more open, like it's like shouting, right? Oh, like ole, 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 ole. Oh, oh. Yes, you try. Oh. So now I'm going to put distortion on top of it. So now I'm using my support muscles. It's like as if, actually, it's not a nice way of putting it, but a good way to demonstrate distortion is by acting as if you turn yourself inside out, and it's actually like you're vomiting. Like you think like you have go, and then you do go, like you're vomiting, right? Yeah, you hear that? Okay, you can actually do this by using the false vocal cords, so or the ventricular folds. You have the vocal cords here. It's like where your Adam's apple is located. And then on top of that, you have the ventricular folds or the false vocal cords. They start to vibrate together when you use the distortion, right? Okay, so this is not happening on the vocal cords, but on top of them, all right? So the other path that you can walk is by creaking. So this is actually also a way to roughen up the sound of the voice, but it's not as aggressive as distortion. So we had can't let you go with distortion, right? Like vomiting. Yeah. But now we go for creaking. Go is without, and now I try to put creaking on top of that. Go! If you paid attention, you would recognize that David, the singer of Disturbed, uses this creaking a lot. It sounds a bit like a mini distortion, but this one is actually created on the level of the vocal cords themselves. So take care. It should never hurt the voice. Well, how to get to creaking? Creaking surfaces whenever you sing a note and you put down the volume. So if I do go and put the volume down, see what happens. So go. It's actually a hard placement to find. It's like you're dancing on a chord, right? Creaking actually surfaces on the voice when you're in between the head voice and the chest voice. So, and this is linked to volume. So whenever I do hey and make it softer, I will go to hey in the head voice when it's softer. So hey, there it is. There's the creaking. This happens in between the head voice and the chest voice. So how to do this on a song like this? My own best pro tip I can give here is you want to lower the volume, but I'm actually going to use support, like a complaining way of supporting, like this, to push the volume down, right? So I have go, sounds really open. Now I'm going to push the volume down with actually like complaining. I'm going to push it down like I'm trying to put a lid on it, right? So I have go, and I do go, that I am stricken and can't let you go. Yeah? All right, this is creaking all the way. This is not distortion yet. If I wanted to sing this in distortion, it would sound like this. Go, that I am stricken and can't let you go. So it sounds different, and the distortion sound is made above the vocal cords, where this one, the creaking, like this one, is made on the vocal cords. All right? So you can choose here what you want. You can go for the path to distortion if you like that sound better, or you can choose the side of the creaking. You can try both. You can try to put them on top of each other even. Make sure you don't hurt the voice. It should not tickle. You should not get hoarse of it. You should not use it without emotion. You should always put in more effort than you think. and the volume always comes from the muscles. Okay? So another thing I'd like to talk about is how do you get the sound that he uses. This is connected to the accent that the original singer is speaking. This gives you a lot of information on how to sing something in any given song. So, for example, David is from America, so he will speak like this. You can try to exaggerate the American accent in favor of your own singing technique, right? So where I'm from Holland, and especially in the south of the Netherlands, in Limburg, we tend to speak at the back of the throat, right? So, and this is really the opposite of what Americans do. They speak really at the front of the mouth, into the mask, what they call the mask, right? It can be a bit nasal sometimes. Sometimes there's already some creaking going on. Sometimes there's not. So this accent gives you a lot of information on how to sing something. Anytime you're trying to sing a song, just see what the original accent is of the singer. And it gives you a lot of information on whether something is placed really in the front of the mouth or in the back. You can also hear it through the volume he makes. It's like really to the front. Even when he does like, whoa, it's like, whoa, it's like still, I want to push it to the front, right? So you understand what I mean? So next to the accent that someone is using, the vowels play a really important role in this. So David never uses like open vowels or e with a dot vowels. So he doesn't use any vowels that would bring him to the head voice like or ooh or e. He doesn't use them. Instead of this, he has this really closed setting that brings him to a technique called edge, and he uses e, a, and vowels. So even when he sings go, he doesn't sing go like oh, not like that, but he sings more of an like go, 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 go. And this makes it easier to stay in edge and to keep the resonance and to keep the twang. So now, if you really aim to go for the sound that David has, like even more, we can speak about the tongue position. We talked about that you have a really close setting and that the tongue is positioned against the upper molars and the soft palate, right? So actually when he goes to the go, he actually, if this is the tongue, he compresses the tongue a bit and pulls it a bit backwards. So this is what gives him the go sound, right? If you keep this flat, it would be go or go when I use the e vowel. Go when I compress this. I sound like Miles Kennedy. He does that as well. You get the sound that David uses when he sings go. You compress the tongue a bit. So this is a pro tip for people who really want to get into the nitty gritty of how to get the exact sound that David uses in Stricken. So now we sang the first verse. You can practice the second verse yourself. The first verse comes back at the end and you can use the same technique for that. So keep it up. So I hear you thinking, how are we ever going to get to that sound, right? Okay, so let's tear this thing apart. First, you want to close the vocal cords. He actually does right? This is the onset that he uses. So you want to have that as well. This sometimes is quite difficult, kind of a skill you need to practice a little bit, because we tend to do like ha 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 ha. We tend to trip over our own voice, right? So let's slow this down first for you, right? If you do this ha, so not with a lot of force, but just the sound ha ha ha. This is the sound of the vocal cords closing. So you're going to do ha 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 ha, and try to make it faster and faster. Try it ha 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 ha. If you don't get it, go back and try it again. Ha, 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 ha. It's 4 times. Ha, 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 ha. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. So this is the sound. Ah, 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 ah. This is the distortion sound. Ah, 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 ah. Ha, ah, ah, ah. Ah, 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 ah. And now we need to get the pitch on that. So as you might have noticed, we're not starting out with the sound, like the ha, like the sound first, but we're starting out with the effect first, with the noise. Ha, 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 ha. The closing of the vocal cords. Ha, 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 ha. And ha, 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 ha. The distortion on top of that. Okay, so now we're going to layer on the voice. Ow. So I've noticed that it can be hard to get the exact pitch, but it doesn't matter. Just make sure you go up. So you try to get a high-pitched sound. We're going to do that through the head voice, actually. So try to do ha 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 ha. So this is actually a disengaged sound. That means that there's no support used in it to get to this sound. Ha 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 ha. So just go up. It also sounds a bit like ha ha, like the Bee Gees. It's ha 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 ha. Ah 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 ah. Okay, so then we're going to we want to use that to get to the higher pitch. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to add on the closing of the vocal cords on that. Ha 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 ha. The closing. Ah 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 ah. Ah 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 ah. Ah 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 ah. Yeah. And now we're going to use. So I hear you thinking, how on earth are we going to get this sound, right? Okay. So he's using something that's called grunt. So try to act like you're a big dog and you're barking. Woof, 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 woof. So you need a lot of support with that. Try that. Okay. So now we're going to do the ah 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 ah. Ah 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 ah. And now we have to add on the pitch. The ha 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 ha. Ah 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 ah. Good luck with that. No, just kidding. This is actually quite advanced. So just make sure you take apart all of the elements. The grunt. Try to do the grunt in a healthy way. Try to do the closing of the vocal cords in a healthy way. And then try to get to the high pitch in a healthy way. All supported by your muscle work, right? By your support. So make sure that you do not attack this place and your vocal cords, but you use the muscles like you're a strong man. Just like me. Beep, bloopers. So now let's get to the part I think is really fun. The scream before he starts the last verse. So this is really cool, I think. So he actually does hey, like he's changing his mind. Like, no, I'm going to start with hey, but I'm going to end with who. You hear that? So the hey. Okay, so this also gives you information on why would he sing this like this. It actually helps him to keep the setting. He might not do this on purpose, like he might not be conscious about why he does that. But then again, we're not always conscious about why something works, right? If it works, super. If you want to learn it, but you don't know how, we have to get into the nerdy stuff to find out what we have to do to get the sound we want. So we have the edge setting, the closed setting. So we keep this as close as possible. And we do the eh sound. It's like hey, but it's also like oh. How. How. So it's like a O, but also a A. Like how. 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 So it's like a mix of two vowels, right? So the onset where he uses the hey is meant to keep him in edge, right? So, and then he goes to the O a bit, like how, how. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to use the creaking pathway to push my volume down so that I get the effect on top of it. So you have the how, How! Without the effect. And now I'm going to push the creaking on top. How! Do it again. How! There was also distortion on there. You hear that? The hey! That's also distortion. How! This will either get you the distortion on top of it, the creaking, or both. In my case, both happened. Yeah? Let's try to isolate them. Hey! That's the distortion. How! That's the creaking. Okay? So let me know in the comments below if you know how to do this. Good luck with this, guys. I see you in the next video. Bye-bye.